Raquel, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Who is Raquel Borras, and what is she all about? What do you want to tell the listeners? Who are you? And what do you do?
That's such a loaded question, Jeff.
I know,
because
right?
I'm going to be 49 next month, and I get it right in there. And I've been going to therapy every single week for 5 months now. And I'm really trying to figure out who I am.
Oh, awesome.
Because there are so many sides of me. I think that's something that as we get older, like, I don't want to be labeled or put in a box. Like, there's so many wonderful facets to me. So to try to explain like who I am is kind of difficult.
Well, then let's do this. Let's take a page.
It might take forever.
No, I know, right? And by the way, I appreciate that. We're gonna have a great conversation. Let's then take a page. Let's break this down. If I was to go to your LinkedIn, we're gonna share links to all your stuff for people who want to follow you. But by the way, should I call you Rocky?
You can.
I can.
I get Rock or Rocky.
Do you have a preference?
It depends on the person.
Oh, it depends on. Are we comfortable enough with each other? I can call you Rocky. Rock.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I may do that.
Okay.
But according to your LinkedIn profile, you are the queen of goofiness, a brand strategist, a speaker, creator at the Rock the Boat Show, youth empowerment, bridging the generational gap.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. That is a very, that is a lot
and there's
going
so
on.
much more, but there wasn't enough room.
Yeah, right. You're out of characters on LinkedIn.
I know. I tell people I'm kind of like a walking oxymoron a lot of times because, you know, I'm somebody that loves sports, loves football, but then I love going to the symphony and, you know, I love my hip hop, but I love classical music. You know, I love being goofy, but I can be, you know, serious, and I like to get deep. So that's kind of like,
all right.
It can be very confusing to people.
I love what you said on your YouTube channel, Rock the Boat. That's R-A-K, by the way, Rock the Boat. We can link that up as well.
Wait, no, R-A-Q.
Q, sorry. See, my energy drink just kicking in. Call number 5 today. What is that whole? It's like, it's a letter. It sounds like, but it isn't. I don't know. But what you say in there is like, there are no interview questions. We hit record and see where the conversation takes us. And that's what we're doing here today. So on that note, you just mentioned you dig some rap, you dig some symphony, right?
Yes.
Now it makes me curious, who's your shortlist for rap? Because I'm like, you know, I got a 20-year-old and a 22-year-old. And of course they've introduced me to the world of rap.
Yes.
Do you have a go-to shortlist?
It's funny because I have a 23 and 20-year-old, and they have exposed me to the recent rap, which I'm not a big fan of. I love my 90s. I love my Snoop Dogg, Dr.
OG,
Dre,
baby.
Warren G.
Yeah.
You know, like
West Coast, East Coast rivalry.
Yeah, I'm more of a West Coast kind of gal, just I guess being that I'm from San Diego, it makes sense,
Tupac,
right?
Biggie Smalls. You know?
Yes. Yeah. So I actually got to witness Tupac at a hotel in Beverly Hills just 2 weeks before.
Really?
Yeah. It was.
Were you called in for questioning?
No, but I was like fangirling when he walked into the lobby. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Tupac.
Wow. See, that's cool.
Warren G. I've seen Warren G too.
Warren G.
Just walk past me. Yeah. So I get super excited when it's the 90s.
Yeah. So
rappers.
Spotify has an awesome playlist, which is like West Coast rap, I think is one of them. There's a lot of playlists on Spotify, just as a tip for anybody who might want to check out some of that OG. It's kind of cool. So my son turned me on to Travis Scott. And by the way, my son does the audio bumper for this podcast, intro music, just FYI, seeing as we're talking about him. That's he's in music production right now for his career in college.
Oh, that's so cool.
Right, which is why I had him do it, right? And so he turned me on to Travis Scott. And like, you know, I knew of Kanye and all that stuff. And this is some of the more, you know, even though Kanye's been around a long time. But like Travis Scott, do you know of him at all?
Of course I do. I have some of his songs on my Apple
Music.
Like,
so to me, I understand what you're saying. And everybody right now is like, what the hell is going on? They're talking about rap on Mortgage Marketing Radio. Yeah, we are. Because there's no notes, right? This is one of those awesome convos. But trust me, hang with us, and this is going to lead to an amazing place.
But I feel like you just mentioned, you know, mortgage marketing. You know, I have interest in 90s rap, which helps my kind of creativity. It helps me create content. It helps with my marketing. So I think it lends to itself.
Okay. I like that. Thanks for like tying that back in, right?
I'm really good about tying it all back in.
Maybe I should let you lead the show right now. Okay. So, and that's a good segue back into like you being a brand strategist. I'm trying to bring up your LinkedIn again. I don't know what happened to it, but identify when you hear the word personal brand, how do you quantify or what does that mean to you, personal branding?
To me, it's just you. It's who you are, and but you're putting yourself out there online so people can see that persona, I guess you will. So that would be.
Let's carry this from the conversation about rap. Does that mean like if you're on your Instagram or whatever and are you going to share like one of the songs you like from Snoop Dogg or whatever, or just let people know that, hey, you're an old school rap fan?
I mean, I'm not going to maybe tell you, but I might use the music on some of my Instagram reels. Okay. Or if I'm in my car sometimes, or I'm listening to something, I'll screenshot the song.
Oh, right. That's what I mean.
And I'll add to it so people can get an idea of like, ooh, that's what she's listening to. And a lot of times it starts a conversation, and that's what you want.
Okay.
And so I'll do that.
All right. So what is it that what do you do, Raquel?
You know what? Even my own company asks me that all the time.
You're the external brand communications manager at New American Funding.
Yes. Uh-huh. So I was just promoted to that role, and that role was created for me. And I think that's something I don't talk a lot about in the space that kind of I'm forging my own path. Like, I think people forget that you have the ability to do that, even in a maybe industry or a space that you didn't think that there'd be any room for you. You know, I started out in the mortgage industry, not knowing where it was going to take me. You know, usually you're like, oh, you're going to be a loan originator, and everyone assumed that because I'm a people person. But I didn't want to originate loans, so I essentially, created my own path. And here, 9 years later, external brand communications manager, that was created for me as well. Just being that it encompasses what I love to do, which is the social media content creation. I love going to conferences and networking and building relationships. I love collaborating. I just like being someone that is out there trying to make a positive impact in any possible way I can. So if it's in the mortgage industry, what better way to do that than to kind of be someone that's out there educating the population on home ownership, but in a fun way and in a way where, I love to empower our youth. So what better way to do that than empower them financially and empower them in a way where, everything doesn't seem so daunting to them. So I think it's kind of cool that I've become kind of this, like, I almost say that I'm like a conduit to like the mortgage industry and then just like the everyday person. Cause even though I've been in the industry for 9 years, I have my NMLS. Okay. I still feel like I'm your everyday consumer that's still trying to figure it out, learn. And so I just kind of think about how would I want to consume content, or how would I want to learn about something? And for me, I want to learn about it in like a fun way, a way that's relatable, a way that connects with me emotionally. And so I pretty much do all of this very intuitively, Jeff. Like, I'm not someone that studied marketing or social media. Or
especially if we look at your major, which was art history, right?
Art history.
Wow.
And I'm an artist. Like, I grew up in an artistic family. Like, my mom's an artist, my great aunt. So it's kind of cool that I get to use my creativity in this capacity. And it just goes to show that you just never know where life and your career can take you, because there's careers that we don't even know are going to exist yet, down the road. Like, when I came into mortgage, no one ever spoke on personal branding or like having a brand or, having an online presence to help promote your company or what you do. Like, that didn't exist. TikTok hadn't even started yet. Instagram was just in the picture phase.
Right. Oh my gosh. Geez.
So the fact that I have this job, you asked that 9 years ago, people would have been like, what?
That's crazy. The old saying, oh, you just aged yourself. Like, I used a reference the other day, and that was my wife asked me. She's like, she didn't know the reference. I said, "Good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are." Do you know that one?
I don't. You really aged yourself. Because I'm 48.
I got a decade on you. I'm a decade older. Decade plus one. Anyway, for anybody who knows what that reference is, DM me on Facebook and you get a free shirt and a call with me. How's that?
Oh my God. I'm going to have to Google it.
But, well, you got a call. I just need to get you a shirt. No, what I was going to say was when you gave that reference of when Instagram started with just pictures and images, like that flashed in my brain for a second of like remembering and that feels so long ago. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To where Instagram is today.
Exactly. Wow. Even LinkedIn. When I got on LinkedIn, I just celebrated my 10-year anniversary with LinkedIn. When I got on, it was completely different.
What did he get you?
I never had any.
What did Mr. LinkedIn get you?
Well, you know what? They didn't get me anything. They didn't get me anything, but I was part of their content creator program. So I do have a LinkedIn creator sweatshirt. And it's a really nice hoodie and a note thanking me for
people love swag.
Content. But that was the thing, is I never would have thought that LinkedIn would have been the social media platform that's the one that I've thrived the most and the one that I love the most. Like back in the day, I would have never said, oh, this professional platform is going to be my favorite, because I don't look at myself as some very polished professional person. So for it to be the one platform that I recognize the most and follow the most, it's really quite
well funny. Okay. now we're going to dig deep. So people who are listening and you stuck with it, this is it's getting juicy. So do you think you need to be polished and professional on LinkedIn?
You don't, but what I have acknowledged is that you do have to respect your community, your following, your network. I feel like there's a level of respect there where it's not that I have to be polished or professional, but I have to put myself out there in a way where it's acknowledging what the platform is and what it is that I'm trying to do. So there is a consciousness there of like, okay, I do have to at least honor what LinkedIn is all about.
What is it all about?
Even though I danced to Milli Vanilli
on LinkedIn
2 weeks ago. Yeah, but it was a full circle moment because I had posted 5 years ago around the same time dancing to Milli Vanilli. I was working for a different mortgage company. The president had requested Milli Vanilli because I was doing like a Fun Friday thing. And I remember somebody was like really mean, reposted that post and said something nasty, and then I had to delete it, and then it almost got me off of LinkedIn. But then Michael Hammond, without even knowing anything, made a post about me the next day, how people should follow me. So then I stayed on. So it was this whole thing, but it really was like I was questioning myself of like, oh my gosh, am I doing something wrong? And so I did so Scott Parsons was like, you know what? I dare you to post again, dancing to Milli Vanilli tomorrow because it's Friday, and just kind of have it be a full circle moment. And I did that. And that was just several weeks ago.
Well, it makes me really curious.
It's like, yeah. So I'm sure people are like, okay, so that makes no sense. But it was me trying to show that you have to be able to be 100% who you are and be very authentic in order for people to really want to like connect with you and follow you and get to know you. And so it would be like a disservice to people if I wasn't showing that side of me. But there's still a side of me that can be, like I said, can be serious, can,
at the right time,
be that person. But at the same time, I have to show that side of me too. And it's that side of me, to be honest, Jeff, that has gotten people to follow me. I had a couple people on that post message me separately and said, I think it was that particular post that got me to follow you because you were just fun and different and you were doing something completely different on LinkedIn and it wanted me to get to know you. So it just goes to show you that side of me was really what drew people in.
Which makes the point of the question I asked, which is, do you think you need to be all serious and polished to be on LinkedIn? Answer no. You can do Milli Vanilli skits and grow your following.
Yes. Yeah. But the respect part was the fact that I grew my following and I got them to trust me and understand what I was doing and understand my journey, so that when I was posting goofy stuff, they understood where it was coming from. They knew that I was still taking the platform seriously and taking what I do seriously. Okay. So that's what I tell people. Like, if you're going to jump on LinkedIn, for instance, and you've been on Instagram and TikTok all this time, you have to understand, like, the audience is a little different. So maybe don't like suddenly start doing crazy TikTok, Instagram stuff at first, because people might be like, wait, wrong platform.
Too soon.
Like, keep it over there, right? Yeah, too soon. And I think that's where I'm trying to like.
Okay, this is a good, I love this.
Get people to understand.
Let's double click, as they say, and go deeper on this. I think I just aged myself again. But let's before you be silly or reveal your goofy side, right? You have to establish some presence and credibility and maybe some engagement points.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would those look like for those that are looking to establish that first? Like, what would be, is this more of the more traditional, useful, educational type content?
Well, it's not necessarily that you have to put out this useful educational content. It's just sharing who you are, but in a way that is genuine, right? Like, there are people that are newer on LinkedIn, and I love that they're also kind of being very transparent about the fact that this is like they're starting their social media journey.
How are they transparent? Are they saying it?
Yeah, I tell people to say that. It's funny how many loan officers or just people in general that I have, they're like, well, what do I say? I'm like, just be honest. Say that this is your very first video. So I've had people on there that were inspired to post a video and do a video, and they'll say in their video, I was inspired by Raquel to just do it, and this is my first time. And I love it because usually the engagement in the comments are people like, oh my gosh, you did great. Keep going. Like, good for you. Like, there's that support. And that's why I tell people, I'm like, people are going to want to root for you. So be honest about it. If it's your first video, like, who cares if people know? I mean, you got to start somewhere.
I'm looking at your videos right now, your thread of posts, and trying to, that's an incredible journey in and of itself. Is there a balance? Do you lean in on video versus images on? Now, Instagram's a little bit unique too in terms of the content. So we're talking about LinkedIn specifically, which I don't know that I've done here actually in quite a while. So let's continue to lead with this.
Yeah, video. LinkedIn is leaning more towards video too. If you see their format, they just kind of now have, they were beta testing it for a while, and I got to beta test it. Now it looks like, I think it's for everybody, where it is like a TikTok, Instagram reel feed now on LinkedIn. So obviously they want more video on there, because video, it's easier to connect with your audience than with a picture. And that's why I do video, because I feel like the way I speak, my mannerisms, my laugh, just kind of like my personality comes through video, not a picture.
Right. It does.
And that's why I do that. And I mean, because I understand that, right? Like, I get it. You know, like I understand that I'm good on video, so that's why I continue to do it. And now it's just fun for me.
Oh, so was there a time where it was uncomfortable and maybe a little bit?
The first video I ever did in 2018, my ex-husband and my kids made so much fun. I mean, when I went over to my ex's that day, and I had done a video promoting NAREP, I think, and the president, she's like, just do a video. And I'm like, all right. So I even said, like, because of Sarah Rodriguez, I'm doing this video. But like the angle, and I was so stiff, and I thought I had to be this like polished professional person. So I didn't come across authentic to the people that knew me. They were like, Mom, that was so cringy. Like, you look so awkward. And it took a while for me to get comfortable in front of my phone. It did.
That's true for everybody.
Because I had this like idea of what I was supposed to look like.
See,
that was the thing. It was more of like, oh, if I'm doing video, then I got to sound like I'm a keynote speaker and I'm in front of, an audience of 500 people.
Right.
That was what I was thinking. Now I'm like, who cares?
Okay. So in regards to your content, or I'm wondering if you have any type of strategy, or do you just like go in the moment and press record and upload, or what do you do?
Yeah, I'm more in the moment kind of gal. Like I'm someone that almost likes to do everything the opposite way, or not necessarily opposite, but not do what everybody else is doing, to prove to people that you can do it your way and still be successful at it and still gain a following and still have an impact. So I do that on purpose. So when there was a point in time where everybody was so like set on like what are the best times to post and the best days, and you know, and then there people were tagging everyone and their mother. Like a lot of people still do that. Like I never was that person. I always posted in real time because I wanted people to really get a sense of like, oh, she was just at this event, or she just had this moment and she wants to share it with us right now because like it's fresh in her mind. And so that's why I do that. So, and nothing's curated. I don't schedule anything. I do everything myself. Like I tell people all the time, I'm a one woman show. Like it really is all me, editing the videos, everything.
Do you edit on your mobile phone?
I do everything on my mobile phone.
So
everything.
I have to fill in the gap here. What are you using for your phone video recording apps?
InShot is my favorite app, and I've been using it for years. And I got a premium account from the beginning, and it's worth it. It's really not that expensive. And they keep adding features. So they added captions. So now you can edit captions. They added all these other features as well that they're just always evolving, and they have everything that you can think of. Music, the last video I did, the little doodling in the background, that was InShot. The way you can split your videos, it's really easy on InShot too. That was something that I didn't know until like recently. And I was like, how did I not know this up until now? That was a game changer.
Was there, I assume, a learning curve of learning how to use an app like InShot?
Yeah. I'm still, like I said, I didn't know anything about the split videos until recently. And that has changed everything for me because it's helped me with just my time. Because I'm not like editing the video separately and then putting them together, if that makes sense. Like you're able to split, like you can even delete because it's so good about like on like a half a second. So those are the type of things that I had to kind of just figure out over time.
There's an what did you have to
split that out?
This is what I find for me on this content journey, is that I had to start to train my brain to create awareness for content capture opportunities. Does that make sense? For example, last night I was out at the Fontainebleau Hotel here in Las Vegas, which is this new swanky hotel.
Ooh,
there's a whole story behind it. But it's the most luxurious hotel that has recently opened on the strip. Anyway, it's beautiful inside.
Oh, really? I had a view of it from my room at the summit. So, I could see like the pool area.
It's super fancy, super luxurious. It sat vacant for 15 years, half built because the developer went bankrupt and all this stuff. So there's this long story behind it. And of course, it's a well-known like local story here. But the point is this, is I was there last night and I've got to this point now where I can walk into a place like that and I'll most times remember to look for content capture opportunities. And in that hotel, there are several of them because it's so beautiful and artwork and this and that and the architecture. I'm wondering, so that was a struggle for me, like, because I would walk around like a moron, like for forever, not even thinking like, dude, this is content. Why don't you capture? Did you have to kind of like learn that new, you know? Yeah.
And now I'm like obsessed. Now I'm that person. Like my mom makes fun of me all the time because years ago, like we'd go somewhere and I'm like, Mom, take a picture of me inside of this. It'll look really cool. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're constantly, I'm like, I walk around and constantly thinking about how to create content. It's really kind of crazy at this point. And I'll even tell people, like, I remember I went walking the other day in my mom's neighborhood and there were these two guys that were doing like woodwork for a home. And it was really cool what they were doing and no one was recording it. And I was like, hey guys, like, why aren't you recording this? Like, this is like beautiful. You're doing this like, it was like a wood board or something for a kitchen. And they're like, yeah, we know we got to get on social media. I'm like, you're missing out. I'm like, because I'm videoing this right now and I'm talking about how you guys should be getting on social media. And if I had you, I would have tagged you guys. And they're like, yeah, we're trying to figure, like they just, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, you guys are missing out on like, you know, and then you've got me. I'm like, I would have recorded this for you and given it to you, and then you guys could have posted it. So yeah, I'm that person that's even thinking about other people's content.
There's two sides of that coin when I think about that. There's one, I was someplace recently. I mean, I think I saw it at the gym probably, where now, you know, you got people in the gym with their tripod and they're like recording themselves for their fitness video or whatever. And that's like interesting. Yeah. But then there's the other side. I don't know if you've heard this example or joke where it's like, you know, one day the aliens are going to come down or whatever and see everybody holding their phones and doing all these selfies and stuff. They'd be like, what is going on with that planet? You know?
Well, and I will tell you though, Jeff, that still embarrasses me. I will not pull my phone out when there's people around and I'm in public. I rarely ever do that. Like, I know there's a lot of people like Sue Woodard. She's really good at the airport and just doing her videos there and walking around. I'm embarrassed to do that. Like, I still get super self-conscious when it comes to that, because when I see other people do that, it makes me feel uncomfortable. So that I'm like, why am I going to do that? I want anybody else to. So it's my own thing. Like, I rarely will take selfies. There's certain things I still have a line. Which people think that like I don't have any boundaries and I cross all lines. I'm like, no, there's still certain things that I just don't feel comfortable doing.
It is an age thing though.
And that's one of them.
Because I have a niece who's at like 26 and like they have no problem taking selfies ad nauseum wherever the hell they are.
Oh yeah, I'll see women like doing crazy stuff and we're like walking by and I was like, so no, see that would, I mean, like there's an account on Instagram that I follow. It's called Influencers in the Wild. It is hilarious the things that people will do and not care. And for me, I still have an issue with that.
It's an age demographic thing, I think. We are just a little bit more reluctant to do that. At least that's my unscientific being around younger people.
I mean, I'll do things in the car. You know, I'll be in the car talking to my phone all the time. Sure. But in public, it's a little different.
Okay. All right. So then what do you advise for people? Because I think that's a constant, you know, we've talked about a couple of things here. One, we have to learn and train ourselves to be aware of like these content opportunities. And then second, I think what is a content opportunity, if you will?
I mean, I talk about contents everywhere. It really is, because I feel like there's a learning lesson in everything. Any kind of conversation that I have, a lot of times it's conversations that I have with just everyday people. That's content for me because it's more relatable too. Like, that's how I think about it too. I'm like, how can I have people relate to what I'm saying? So that's why I'm not someone that really curates my videos and has them edited and has everything kind of like super polished, because that to me is like for a lot of people out of reach. They can't do that. So that's why I try to kind of just walk the walk as opposed to talk about it. I'll just do videos with no makeup on, no filter, like in the moment. And I do that on purpose to give permission for people to do the same, because I feel like they won't do it unless they see other people do it.
This right
like
now.
You can tell them all
this
these
is a content opportunity for people who can't see. I'm away from the mic because I'm taking a photo, right? But the photo's in my damn face. There we go.
You're like, but it was a selfie.
Like, what the hell? I can't even like, oh my God.
Yeah, so like if I'm getting ready for a Zoom call or I'm on a Zoom, I'll take a screenshot or, you know, behind the scenes, anything just to kind of, you know, have something out there. Because that's another thing too, is you do want to train the algorithm for the platforms that you're on to know that you're posting and to push your content out. So there are little things, little nuances like that as well that are important.
So think about that, right? You listening right now, behind the scenes, you're prepping for calls, you're doing a pre-qual, you're going out to a realtor meeting, an open house, a broker preview. Like, I'm thinking of all the things. Maybe you're on a Zoom like you and I right now, and I just snapped that photo. There are a lot of content opportunities when you think about it that people want to, it's weird. They want to like get these insights into your day. Like, what do you do?
They do. I love that. Well, yeah. I mean, that's more intriguing to me, Jeff, when I'm scrolling through my feed. If there's a curated video, I most likely will not stop. But if I suddenly see a video of someone in their car, like in the moment with a baseball cap, I'm more inclined to want to hear what they have to say, because I know it's in the moment and it's raw. And there's something about that rawness and being in the moment that is intriguing to me and that I want to hear, because that's like people's true kind of genuine moments. And to me, that's what that attracts me. And remember, this is me. There are some people that are the opposite, and that's okay. But those are the type of people that I don't really want on my feed or really attract.
I mean, yeah, right.
And that's okay. Like I'm honoring what it is that I like.
That's the key.
I tend to put content out that I like. So if someone likes polished content and likes that professional look, then they're most likely going to create that. And that's okay.
Well, I think that's a really good point there to double click on, which is like, you got to be true to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, be true to your school. Yeah. Like it's got to resonate with you. You can't fake it and be all polished, which is why, like, this just popped into my head. Like when I was at the Mastermind Summit, like I can't wear I don't want to say can't. I am less me if I'm going to go present a keynote or something from in front of a room. If I'm wearing a blazer or a sport coat, I feel confined and trapped, and like I can't be free and be me, right? So I don't know if that's a parallel, but it's a similar example of like, you got to be you. You can't like fake it.
Why do you think of Josh Pitts and why all those people like have gang. Kind of, and it's, there's a lot of guys that are looking like that these days. And it's because that's who they are. They're going to be walking around like that. Like, I mean, there's plenty of times where I come to work and I have a baseball cap or I do videos with baseball caps because I love to wear a baseball cap. And that's a lot of what I dress like every day. So I'm not going to not do videos.
You wearing your Tupac cap? Is that what you're wearing?
No, they're all like sports teams.
Padres?
Wherever I go, I tend to kind of buy it. Padres, Dodgers, Angels.
What? You can't do Padres and Dodgers.
Yankees. I can do it all.
I can do what I want, damn it.
Well, because I don't have a baseball team. So when
apparently
it comes to football, it's different. I only have Chargers ball caps. That is, yeah. So when it comes to football, you won't find me buying ball caps from other football teams. Baseball
is that your sport? Baseball? You like baseball?
Yeah, the other sports, it's all good.
Oh, sorry. Football is your sport.
Football's my
Chargers.
Sport. That's why the Chargers are like, I'm so loyal to the Chargers that you'll never see me wearing
they went to LA. Like that was the biggest ridiculous
team.
Thing of like, why not friggin' build a new stadium, city of San Diego? You know? Jack Murphy.
I know.
Qualcomm.
I'm right down the street.
Yeah, I went to games at Jack Murphy and Qualcomm. As a matter of fact, it was the one.
Yeah, but I love my sports.
I took my kids to a game it must have been Qualcomm because Jack Murphy's a long time ago, but Qualcomm Stadium. My kids this is going back 10 years. So now my kids are like 10 or 12 back then. And I take them to their first NFL game. And what happens? 3 rows in front of us, a fight breaks out between these 2 drunk guys. And then we're on our way to the restroom. Some dude's thrown up in the trash can. I'm like, welcome to your first NFL experience, kids.
Yeah.
This is American professional football. Gotta love it.
I'm a big fan of athletics. So I'm that person that's watching like when it's the World Cup. I love tennis, so I watch all the tournaments, the Grand Slams. World Series. I appreciate sports. Yeah.
And
so that's the side of me too.
The World Cup, is that happening? What was the game last night? The U.S. got European.
Right now it's the European.
U.S. is out. They lost.
Yeah.
Last night. Mm-hmm. I know that because I was at the hotel watching.
Oh, they did.
But okay. So be yourself. Capture content in the moment. Don't overthink it or overproduce it. Just be. Mm-hmm.
Well, I just think, I mean, Jeff, once again, like intuitively, I feel like that's where we're going. Our younger generations want more of that type of content. That's what they relate to. I mean, they're the ones that are literally changing the landscape. So you have kids that age. I have kids that age too. Yeah. So I see it with my kids. I see that what they consume is completely different than what we would consume, and completely different than what a lot of us put out there. So that's why for me, I'm kind of also taking notes from what my kids are doing and saying and reacting and so forth. And they are just so different than I was at that age, so different. And so it's like having to kind of evolve in so many ways, as a parent too, just the way I parent has evolved in the last 10 years because of social media. and and TikTok. So for me, that's why with Rock the Boat, it's so important, because I want to bridge that gap, that generational gap, and hear what they have to say so that we can relate more to them and understand where they're coming from. Because
well, and so let's talk about this briefly. Rock the Boat. Link in the show notes to your YouTube channel, Rock the Boat. What prompted this? Why did you create this? What's the genesis of it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Hmm. Right. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Um, I'm asking for of personal interest. Do you think that the younger generation, like I use this term, it's not exactly failure to launch, but remember that movie Failure to Launch with Matthew McConaughey? I think it was the one. Jeez, come on. Where's your look, all these things, these amazing gems I'm dropping here. People listening right now, remember Failure to Launch. It's about this dude who doesn't grow up and he's not mature enough to have a real, quality woman, a wife, whatever. What's her name was in it? Goldie Hawn's daughter. Kate Upton, is that her name? I can't remember. Kate Hudson. Yeah. Anyway, point is this: like, do you talk to these younger people more obviously than I do? But I kind of see it as well in my own like kids circle is like the speed at which we engaged in different activities, whether that's dating, whether that's jobs, whether that's moving out. It seems to me they're a little bit slow on that launch path comparatively, or slower than like your age group, my age group. What do you say to that? All right. What does that mean though? Does that mean they're removed from them? They're seeing them virtually online and not actually living it? Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. It's right. It's like they're missing a gear. They're missing a gear. Like yeah, yeah. It doesn't fall in. Yeah, it doesn't fall in. Mm-hmm. Hmm. No, it's just a culture. Mm. Yeah, and a lot of it's not accurate. Mm. Mm. Yeah, yeah, I like that. I think that's something people can sink their teeth into, in that you have a responsibility, a duty, a fiscal responsibility, right? Kind of fiduciary, use that word, of like, to educate. That's why, like, your involvement with First Home IQ, right, as an ambassador, like, that makes a lot of sense. For those who don't know what First Home IQ is, we'll link it up in the show notes. But what do you want to quickly say about First Home IQ, if you don't mind? Dave Savage, yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Mm. No. No. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Wow. Yeah, and maybe that's a jumping off point for some people about content and strategy and creation is, let's just face it, first time home buyers, next gen, all that stuff coming up. And if you're looking for an avatar or some audience to identify with, and if that audience speaks to you, of this younger population, and you do want to be, right, take that responsibility to help guide. I mean, you're not going to reach everybody, but I mean, if you just over the course of your career help change the impact, the lives of a few hundred or whatever, maybe 1,000 or so, depending on how much you want to do business wise, like that can be pretty impactful. Maybe that gives you some motivation or purpose behind finally getting active with your content. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right on. Okay. Well, listen, I'm keeping an eye on the clock, and I know your hourly is expensive, so I'm afraid of the invoice I'm going to get. So this has been a really I'm just wondering though, like if you have any predictions for this year's Super Bowl, and like who you live in California, you said Chargers. Is it Rams also? No, just Chargers. Oh, well, forget it. They're not going to be in it. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah. SoFi, right? SoFi Stadium? Yeah. Right. I've not been there yet. Yeah, I know. I definitely want to go for sure. Oh. Wow. All right. Little insider tip. Can you see over my shoulder? Let's see here. See that red hat over there? Oh, it says SF on it. Well, I have a relative on the team. Oh yeah, I met John. Yeah, super cool people. Ooh. Yeah, terrible. Right. Mascot logo thing. Yeah. Before it got socially corrected. Yeah. It's fantastic. Okay. So, listeners who want to connect with you, LinkedIn is going to be your primary social platform, although we'll link up your Instagram as well as your cool conversation with young peeps on Rock the Boat. If you got young kids and you want them to be on Raquel's show, Rock the Boat on YouTube, connect with her. It's the space for candid conversations with amazing kids. Well, I hope you sparked something in our listeners today. Not only did we have fun, we talked about rap, we talked about old movies and quotes and football. And it's been I told you, see the blank, just no notes. That's fantastic. Well, I think anybody who follows you is going to be glad they did. It'll be inspiring. It'll be entertaining and impactful. So all the above. So Raquel, thank you so much for being here. You bet. Listeners, you know what to do if you like this episode. Hey, there's a link somewhere. Tap it in the show notes to leave us a review. And we appreciate that. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.